Hi, everyone. I'm Melinda Marks. I'm the Practice Director of Cybersecurity for Omdia, and I'm so thrilled to be here today with Francis deSouza, who's the COO of Google Cloud and the President of Security Products. So Francis, thanks for your time today. It's so great to see you.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
So you've been at Google for a year, and you came on as COO, and then you've recently added President of Security Products to that title. What does that allow you to do that you couldn't do before?
Sure. Well, I have a background in cybersecurity, and as we at Google Cloud expand our cybersecurity focus, both organically as well as with the acquisition of Wiz, this is a real opportunity to sort of drive that roadmap and sort of think about, how we can deliver protection for our customers. In talking to our customers, they recognize that cybersecurity right now is going through probably the biggest change it's ever gone through, driven by AI and how that changes the threat landscape, that changes new techniques for defense and offense, and creates a whole new area to protect. And so it allows me and the team to really sort of focus on expanding our security portfolio, being that trusted security partner for our customers as they navigate this big AI transition. And then on the COO side, our focus is on scaling Google Cloud. As customers embrace AI, we're seeing a tremendous amount of growth as the only hyperscaler with an AI stack. And so our focus in the COO group is really helping expand our capability to serve those customers. The two roles overlap in a couple of ways. One, as COO, I'm responsible for our information security team, and so I get a front row seat in terms of what are the security challenges that customers are likely to face as they embrace AI in their environments, and really share those learnings, those tools and techniques with our customers through our security products. Also, as part of the COO role, I'm responsible for something at Google we call Google on Google AI. And so what that means is, our teams partner with the organization around helping them embrace AI across the company to help write code, to manage our suppliers, all the way to, in our treasury department, using AI to optimize cash balances. And so I also get a chance to see, how companies can adopt AI and share our learnings with them. But then hand in hand, there's no such thing as an AI strategy without a security strategy. And so watch them come together hand in hand.
Nice. That's so great to see. I've always loved how Google really emphasizes security as a differentiator in its cloud platform. And now with security products, do you see your approach as more of a walled garden to help your security products support Google Cloud? Or are you seeing yourself more as a Switzerland supporting multi-cloud, hybrid cloud, and environments that organizations are using?
It's a great question. At Google Cloud, we deeply believe that our customers live in a multi-network world. And that, almost every company, even from a best practices perspective around resilience and cybersecurity, is going to use multiple networks. And so, obviously we want to be, a very strong partner from a hyperscaler perspective for our customers. And we really focus on providing, as you said, a very robust, secure environment for our customers. And that shows up in, fewer vulnerabilities, less downtime compared to the other hyperscalers. But we still recognize that companies will be using, other networks. And even if they make a choice to go with one network, the reality is they use SaaS applications, or they may do an acquisition that uses another network. And so it's important that their security and compliance remains confident and consistent across multiple networks. And so what that means from our security portfolio perspective is that from the ground up, we build our security portfolio to work across networks. And you certainly saw that in our acquisition of Wiz, which provides cloud-native application protection for customers and works across all the major networks. Now, that open ethos is very consistent with our deep ethos at Google from the beginning. If you look, for example, at our AI stack, we have, for example, our own chipset with TPUs for AI, but we're also one of the world's biggest partners for NVIDIA's GPUs, and that's a very deep and long-standing partnership. Similarly, we have our own AI model, Gemini, and we're very proud of how Gemini performs across the leaderboards. But if you go to Vertex, our platform, you'll see that we have over 200 models in our model garden, including Anthropic's Claude, DeepSeek, and a whole host of other models. And so at every layer of the stack, we want to provide our customers with the best technology, and we're really pushing the innovation envelope at each layer of the stack. But then we're also committed to making those innovations open. We published the Transformer paper. We open sourced Kubernetes. We open sourced the A2A protocols for agent communication. And also then we provide a security portfolio that works across networks.
Nice. I love that, supporting customer choice and meeting them where they are.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and congratulations on the Wiz acquisition.
Thank you.
Yeah, and how does this fit into your agentic AI and Gemini strategy?
We are very excited about what Wiz has been able to do for customers in the market in terms of cloud security. And we are even more excited about what we'll be able to do together now that Wiz is part of Google. As you know, Wiz and the team there, it's a fantastic team, really pioneered the area of cloud native application protection. And, they work from, code to cloud runtime to really deliver security for cloud applications for customers across the different networks. It's an offering that's loved by customers, and it's rare to hear developers rave about a security product that they're using in their applications, and Wiz has done that. It provides fantastic visibility through their security graph around all the assets in the cloud that your applications depends on, also identifying vulnerabilities with those assets, and then help prioritize, the remediation list for customers in terms of securing their infrastructure. Now, as the Wiz team comes into Google, we see many opportunities to continue to accelerate what they are doing. For example, we expect to see deeper connections between the Wiz team and our AI models, and I think that'll really accelerate the innovation roadmap that Wiz is on. We're also seeing, and they just announced this week, as did we, a set of agents that work across the Wiz portfolio, our SecOps portfolio. And what that does is allow our customers to have an agentic workflow around, taking in threat intelligence, identifying vulnerabilities in their environment, creating that prioritized remediation list, and to the extent that those remediations can be automated, actually automating the remediation. And so you'll see continued deeper integration between the Wiz portfolio, our security operations portfolio, our threat intelligence products, as well as our incident response capabilities through Mandiant. And so we're really excited about the opportunities for that integration. And then looking forward, we believe that this is the beginning of the next chapter of sort of the Wiz journey, and that in addition to providing cloud security, the Wiz product portfolio is really well positioned to help customers with AI security and really be the AI security product portfolio to help customers that run their AI models, which are in the cloud, deliver visibility across different models and across different agentic infrastructures, as well as protection for that portfolio. And so we're very excited about what they do today and accelerating that, and even more excited about getting into more deeply AI security.
Very cool. Yeah, enabling security teams to scale, because all of this innovation is all about other teams scaling and speeding up productivity, but the security teams really need that efficiency and scale. I also wanted to talk about your CISO Perspectives blog post that talked about how important it is for the board to be bilingual in AI and security as well. What do you feel is important for CISOs for educating the board about cybersecurity?
Yeah, I think I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that we're probably going through the time of the most change in cybersecurity of any time in the history of cybersecurity. That AI is driving a radical rethink of how companies need to do security. That we're seeing a completely new type of actor on the threat landscape and an expansion of the number of actors in the threat landscape. With AI, what you're seeing are organizations that didn't necessarily have the technical depth to create their own malware, but now, with available tools like WormGPT or other tools, you're seeing those organizations now be able to vibe code malware and mount all agentic attacks on companies. And so on the one hand, you're seeing an expansion of the number of actors in the threat landscape. Secondly, you're seeing a dramatic increase in the speed of attacks and the number of attacks that are happening. So for example, the amount of time it took a threat actor to get into a company and then break out, into the rest of the company. Well, that used to be measured, in many, many hours. And now, in fact, the fastest we had seen was down to only a few minutes, but now we're seeing it in less than 20, 30 seconds. And so it's breaking out much faster. The handoff between different threat actors used to be 8 hours on average. Now it's taking 20 seconds. And so you're seeing a dramatic escalation in how fast these attacks are happening. And then you're seeing a whole new area that has to be protected by companies, all their AI assets, their models, their agents, their data sets. And so all that means that enterprises, have to rethink how they did security, and that security becomes, much more important and almost an existential issue for companies. All that escalates up to the board to think about, well, what does that mean in terms of investments in cybersecurity? How should they think about, moving quickly with AI, but moving safely with AI? And really the only way boards can make those decisions is if they are fluent with how AI is impacting the business, what the risks are. And so it becomes necessary for boards to be bilingual, to really understand, their fiduciary responsibilities as a board member, but also, understand cybersecurity and AI. And so we're going to see a bigger demand for boards to have that capability.
Yeah, I think that's so great because it's an exciting time for cybersecurity because it shows the importance of it in order for enabling innovation because you have to do it securely. And that does require understanding and investment and organizational support. And that's so important. I just presented yesterday on cybersecurity careers, and for CISOs, that executive support is so important for whether they can be successful or not, and also fulfilled in their careers, that they have the right tools at their fingertips to use.
You're absolutely right. We're going to see, it's this massive amount of innovation in cybersecurity. We're going to see the jobs, continued growth in the jobs around cybersecurity and demand for individuals, again, that are fluent in both cybersecurity and AI. And as companies use agents, for some of the more mundane tasks of cybersecurity, like going through the alerts, for example, and trying to identify if there's a threat in the environment, what that means is that jobs will become more interesting for the cybersecurity professionals because some of the more mundane stuff will be dealt with by agents. And so I think we're going to see a lot of innovation in this space.
Yeah. Another big topic is we're seeing data sovereignty laws fracturing the internet. Fast forward to 10 years and the end of the decade, or in the next decade, does Google Cloud see a future where there's one global security standard, or are you seeing more fragmentation where we have something like a westernized internet or Western internet security stack and a completely incompatible Eastern internet stack?
I think what we'll see some standards that are embraced globally, even from a cybersecurity perspective. I think in general, too, we'll see more countries enforce not just data residency requirements, so the data for their citizens and their infrastructure needs to stay in their country, but I think you'll see more of geopatriation and requirements around that the individuals that actually interact with that data need to be citizens of that country. And so I think you'll see, that emerge. And then I think you'll see country-specific and region-specific rules. You're seeing some countries, for example, that are creating laws around liability to say that, if a company is compromised and that results in their consumers, losing money, the company will be liable. And we're seeing that emerge, for example, in some countries. And so I think you'll see this layering where you'll see some, standards and laws that, sort of consistently apply across the world, and then you'll see region and country-specific regulations.
Nice, yeah, and important things to consider for sure, absolutely, for businesses. And I also read your cybersecurity forecast blog, and you argued that agentic security is going to turn the SOC from a monitoring hub into an engine for automated action. And we see that in our research as well. We see a lot of auto remediation efforts, and it's just really the agentic AI is so promising. As we hand over decision-making to these autonomous AI agents, are there things that you think the agents should not do, should not touch, that humans need to be?
Yeah, I think that I think you touched on a few important points. One, you touched on the the fact that, look, as we continue to see the growth in agentic attacks and AI-driven attacks, it'll be more and more important for companies to have a defense that operates at the speed of AI, at the speed of the attacking machines. And so it'll be important for them to have defensive capabilities that are agentic and autonomous to the extent that they can react quickly to an attacker and shut down and contain an attack. And so you'll see a lot of things that will happen autonomously. However, there are some things that is going to be critical for humans to be involved in. The setting of policy, the monitoring of an environment and how the agents are operating, sort of reviewing if the agents are acting with the intent that they did. Also, developing an agentic architecture that doesn't depend on a small number of all-powerful agents, but really breaks down the agentic capability into a number of smaller agents and sub-agents. That's going to be important from a security perspective, because if you do see any agentic drift or compromise, the blast radius will be contained to what that agent can do. And so, again, creating that architecture around how you operate your SOC fleet is something that a human, will be definitely in the loop on. And then similarly, ultimately, it's the humans and the leadership team that's going to be accountable and liable for, the operation of that SOC. And so attestations, will be critical. Monitoring, making sure that you're auditing, the work of the SOC. All of that will continue to be a human responsibility.
Nice. Yeah, definitely. There's so much talk about AI and what machines can do, but we can't lose focus of what the humans do and what the humans bring to the equation. Well, Francis, it's been so great to sit with you. Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you for the time.
Yeah, thanks. For those watching, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you again next time.